Arthur Morgan spent his entire life believing one dangerous thing, that somehow being a good person and doing good things are the same exact thing. Well, they are not, because Arthur did good things. He helped strangers, protected children, saved lives, and then went home and beat a dying man for nothing, just a bounty and some dead money. That contradiction, that war between who he was and who he wanted to be, is the entire story of a protagonist today. People say Dutch manipulated Arthur. Well, I just say that's too simple of an explanation. Manipulation is temporary. Dutch built belief. That is much worse. Dutch Vanderlyn gave Arthur something more powerful than money: meaning, a family, a purpose, and a philosophy to live by.
We are not criminals. We are outlaws.
There's a difference?
We are not criminals, we are survivors. We are fighting a broken world. That line matters because once violence becomes moral, in your mind you stop calling it violence.
Do we get a hug, Arthur? A warm embrace for a lost brother now found.
You know, nothing means more to me than this gang, the bond we share. It's the most real thing to me. I would kill for it, I would happily die for it.
Listen carefully. He doesn't say, I like this gang. He says, it gives his life meaning. And that's what you call identity. And when your identity is built around loyalty, you know what happens? The incoming betrayal feels like death. Most people treat Thomas Downs as the mission where Arthur gets tuberculosis. That's completely wrong. That mission is where Arthur discovers himself for the first time. Thomas Downs is weak, poor, and sick, and Arthur knows exactly what he's doing. That's why the scene feels disgusting. Not because Arthur is violent or something, but because for once, he cannot pretend that he isn't.
I'm dying, sister.
Okay?
Yeah, I got TB. I got it. Beating a man to death for a few bucks. I've lived a bad life, sister.
I got TB. I got it from beating a man for a few bucks. Notice something? He doesn't say I got sick. He says I got it beating a man. Not the disease. He's talking about his guilt. Arthur does not remember the illness. He remembers the moral failure. Psychology calls this cognitive dissonance. When your actions and identity collide, your brain panics, and most people tend to not change their behavior. They instead change the story. This is for survival, this is for the gang, this is just how life is. That is not the truth for him. It's a kind of self defense. Because apparently, admitting I am becoming the thing I hate is much harder than just loading another revolver.
I've lived a bad life, sister.
We've all lived bad lives, Mr. Morgan. We all sin. But I know you.
You don't know me.
Forgive me, but that's the problem. You don't know you.
What do you mean?
I don't know, but whenever we happen to meet, you're always helping people and smiling.
Everyone in Arthur's life asks him what he can do. Only Sister Calderon asks him who he is. She tells him that's the problem, you don't know. This line is devastating because Arthur thinks his problem is sin. She says no, His problem is self recognition. He has spent so long surviving, he forgot to ask what kind of man actually survives.
You're too smart for me, sister. I guess I'm afraid.
There is nothing to be afraid of, Mr. Morgan.
Everyone remembers this line. Most people think Arthur is afraid of dying. He isn't. Arthur has faced death his entire life. Bullets, bounties, and wars, and whatnot. Death is familiar to him. What terrifies him is this: dying before becoming someone better. This line hurts a lot because for the first time, Arthur has achieved clarity, and clarity is cruel. He sees the son he failed, the woman he lost, the people that's used, the man he could have been. That is fear, not death. Regret.
Who amongst you is with me? And who is betraying me? Well, I'll be here. Think for yourself.
People think Dutch betrays Arthur by choosing Micah. But no, that happened much earlier. Dutch betrays Arthur the moment Arthur realizes the moral code was never real. Arthur says that he gave you all he had. This is not about money, it's about faith. He gave Dutch his youth, his loyalty, his morality, his entire framework for life. And discovering that your father figure might have been wrong is like watching your own past collapse. The sad tragedy about all this is that Arthur does not redeem himself by feeling guilty. Guilty is cheap. He redeems himself through transfer. He makes sure that John gets out. John is not just a friend, John is a possibility. He's the version of Arthur that still has time. That's why Arthur says, when the time comes, you gotta run and don't look back. He's not saving John, he's protecting the future he knows he will never have. Arthur Morgan's tragedy is not that he dies, RIP him. It's that he understood life right before the ending. Too late to restart, just enough time to choose correctly once. Most people think redemption means becoming a new person. Arthur teaches something worse. Sometimes redemption means finally understanding who you should have been and living just long enough to prove you knew. And maybe that's why he stays with us, because Arthur Morgan isn't a fantasy, he's a warning.